You didn't randomly become someone who feels responsible for everything. It might feel like that sometimes, like it's just your personality, or that you're just someone who handles things. But this didn't start with your schedule, or your job, or your life now. A lot of it started in childhood, in environments where noticing things mattered, not just what was happening, but how people were feeling. You learned to read the room, to pick up on tone shifts, on tension, on what wasn't being said. You could feel when something was off, even if no one said it out loud. And when you noticed it, you didn't just observe it, you felt responsible for it. Maybe you tried to keep things calm, to avoid conflict, to smooth things over, to be easy, to be helpful, to not make things worse. Because somewhere along the way, your brain connected those things. If I can keep the peace, things stay stable. If I adjust myself, things don't escalate. And in childhood, that might have actually worked. So your brain kept doing it. Over time, that awareness turned into responsibility. And that responsibility turned into a role. The one who keeps things steady, the one who notices everything, the one who makes sure everyone is okay. And now, it shows up everywhere. You walk into a space, and you're already scanning, not just for tasks, but for people. Who seems off? Who might be upset? What needs to be handled before it becomes a problem? And before you even realize it, you're adjusting, you're anticipating, you're stepping in, you're taking things on, not because anyone asked you to, but because it feels like the right thing to do, like the responsible thing to do. And over time, that turns into people-pleasing, into overfunctioning, into being the one who holds everything together. You become the one who manages the energy in the room, the one who fills the gaps, the one who makes sure nothing falls apart. And from the outside, it looks like strength, like you have it together, but underneath it, there's pressure, because your brain never really turns off. It's always reading, always adjusting, always trying to keep things steady. And that's exhausting, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're responding to everything like it's yours to manage. Even emotions that aren't yours, even situations that don't require you, even things that would resolve on their own if you didn't step in. But your brain doesn't pause to ask that. It just moves, because that pattern was built a long time ago, and it made sense then. But now, it's running in situations where it's no longer necessary. And that's where the shift starts. Healing doesn't start with changing everything all at once. It starts with recognizing the pattern, seeing it clearly, naming it, realizing this isn't random, this is something you learned. And once you can see it, you can start to choose differently, not perfectly, not all at once, but in small moments, pausing before you step in, letting something sit without immediately fixing it, noticing someone else's emotion, and allowing it to stay with them. Those small shifts might not feel like much, but they change your trajectory, because you're no longer automatically turning awareness into responsibility. You're creating space, and in that space, things start to feel different. Not overnight, but gradually. You start to feel less pressure, less urgency, less need to manage everything, and more ability to just be present. Because you're not here to carry everything around you. You're allowed to care, without taking it on. You're allowed to notice without absorbing it. And over time, your brain starts to learn something new. That noticing something doesn't always mean you have to jump to handle. That caring doesn't always mean carrying. And that you can be present without taking everything on.